So my love for Lister began in January 1988 when I bought this magazine. I'm just about to board a flight to Singapore to see my father, who's working out there, and this was to be my reading material for the long journey. And I still get excited looking at that car today. You know, the styling, the wheels, the full leather Recaro trim, and it's almost 500 horsepower. I mean, just blew me away. And, you know, I remember thinking, could I ever own a car like that one day? Because it wasn't just a kit. You know, it was the whole package. It was the suspension, it was the engine, it was the gearbox, it was the interior. I had a bright red Daimler 66 at the time, which had an Auto Sport styling package on it. And that's all that was. It had the set of wheels as well. But as far as the engine, gearbox, interior went, totally standard. But this Lister, you know, that was an expensive piece of kit. And yeah, I dreamt of maybe one day owning one. But until that day was to arrive, I'd just have to be happy with buying my magazines. So every time I saw one, yeah, I'll have that. Great looking at the pictures and having a read. I mean, this just, you know, 1989, very few cars could do 0 to 60 in less than 5 seconds, never mind it being a 1 3/4 ton XJS, you know. Great front cover. Oh, this was awesome as well, because this came with a cassette, so you could hear the road test. And in fact, someone's put it on YouTube, so I'll add the link so you can find it and have a listen, because it is it's a great listen. I mean, look at the company, 959 Countach, Aston Martin Vantage. And then it gets better, you know, an F40. I can't imagine how Lawrence and his workers at Lister must have felt, you know, being in this company, being up against, you know, the fastest cars from the best manufacturers of supercars in the world. It must have been an awesome time for them. Look at that. Just, yeah. Fantastic front cover again. This always used to make me laugh. I always remember thinking, you know, imagine being in your 911 and, you know, what you think looks like an XJ40, XJ6 is pushing you along the road, and in reality it's a V12 7-litre Lister. You'd be taking your car back to Porsche, having it checked over. And again with this, Jaguar Quarterly, winter 1990. Little did I know when I used to sit and dream of this, that this was to be the car I was to own. H969GGM. And yeah, I've actually, once I bought my Lister, I think it was the second service, I took it to a chap down in Surrey, what's his name? Godwin Cars. And he serviced it, and yeah, did a great job, nice fella. It was a little too far for me to go, so I think I only used him, well, I did only used him the once. But he did tell me that, you know, he said, did you know that your car was the car we used for the Guinness Book of Records? So he said, yeah, if you get yourself the 92 edition of the Guinness Book of Records, it's in there quite a few times, and yeah, it's in here. Fastest British car, 200 miles an hour, largest engine, most power produced, and a few other things as well. Again, 2 ways to blow off a Ferrari. Fantastic. And back in '92, I wrote to Lister asking for the brochure, which they sent. Which, that's there. And then I got so February '92. So that was till a month, 7 years before I was to actually be there and drive out of their unit in a 7-litre supercharged convertible. Little did I know. You've got all your price lists as well. Kept everything. I'm just a nutcase really. But this is funny. So this is my business card from 1993. 8 years experience. Started out in 85. So yeah, 93. And I'm an estate car specialist. But I've got a Lister on my business card because everything was Lister. You know, every car I sold, you know, it's a bit more towards the Lister pot, you know. Absolute madness. But yeah, brilliant. And I had a knock at the door soon after buying this car, and it was this guy, David Wakeford. He lives in my village, and he said, I've seen you got a Lister. He said, I must do a feature on it. He said, I write for the Jaguar Drivers Club magazine. So he came over one afternoon and took some lovely photographs, and we went for a drive, and yeah, that's that. There's Nigel Webb on the front cover. Big enthusiast. Yeah, super enthusiast, that's what he is. And a funny story actually, because again, you know, I bought the car, rang my friends up to tell them, and I rang Stuart, one of my good pals from my BMX days, and I said, Stuart, I've done it. He said, done what? I said, I bought a Lister. Oh wow, what colour? I said, it's dark blue. He said, oh, I've got a red one in my magazine, one of my naughty magazines. I said, well, it might well be my car, because mine was the road test car and the press car. Is it H969GGM? I don't know, I'll go and check, he says. And he comes back and says, yes, it is. So he very reluctantly had to part with this, because men only. Yeah, less of that. So yeah, that's my sort of early history and love for Lister before I actually became an owner. So just to give you an idea of what I was up to back in January 1988, I was a 19-year-old car salesman working for a Ford main agent in Peterborough and doing all right. I had an Escort 1.4 GL company car. You can't see the registration number, but I'm sure it was E872JEG. So that was my transport by day. And by night, I was driving around in this 6-year-old Daimler 66, 60,000 miles, and a full auto sport styling kit, and fully de-chromed. And I bought this from a guy who bought and sold salvage aircraft. And I loved it. It was, to me, it was the nearest thing I could find which sort of resembled Steed's coupe from the Avengers. It was the 1980s. Look how clean that is under the bonnet. Very, very proper car. I think it done 62 or 63,000 when I bought it. Still got all the history to the car. It was all Hadley green. This 50,000 mile service was £1,500, which back in 1986 that'd probably be, I don't know, 5,000 quid today. And yeah, I'm a nutcase. I kept MOT. There's the logbook, and so I bought it September 87, and it's a 1981. Still got my insurance cover note and the MOT checklist. all nice and clean. So yeah, that was that. And moving forward, 2 years, go to 1990. So I'd be 21 here. I'm in business. Obviously I've got stock at the garage. But personally, I'd always have 2 or 3 cars to run around in. So here we have a 5-year-old XJS, an 11-year-old Series 2 XJ 5.3, and an 87 Jaguar Sovereign. Following year, so 22 years old, I've still got the XJ 5.3, but we've swapped one of these for a Sierra Sapphire Cosworth. I think that was 2 years old. And a bit later, XJ6. And then moving forward, so I'm 23 here. Rolls-Royce Shadow 1, which when I was growing up in the 70s, if you made it, you had a Jaguar. If you really made it, you had a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, and that was pretty much it. So I had to buy one of these cars and obviously dress accordingly. And there's the following year, we've got a Shadow 2, so 24 years old. Great times, absolutely fantastic times. And then, yeah, this will be 93, so I'm 25 because this was when I bought my 3-door Cosworth, which I'd been looking for a couple of years, because I absolutely adored these cars. I was at the launch. I remember the launch back in '86 in the showroom. We had a Moonstone Blue one, and I think they were £15,750, something like that. And we had guys coming in with Ferraris and 911 Porsches, and they were buying them. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So yeah, 25 years old. We've got a Bentley Mulsanne. Still got the XJ 5.3 with the appropriate registration. I've still got that. And 3-door Cosworth. And yeah, very proud there. But I've not dressed accordingly, as you can see. That's a bit of a disappointment. So yeah, that was 93. So I'll be 25. So we'll move forward 5 years. And I've got 4 cars. I've got this XJS, which I've just bought. That is now on XJS1, so a few of you might know that car. So I've got the XJS, and I've got a Daimler 66 Series 2, which I got in 95, so I would have had that 3 years by this time. And this is probably going to be the wrong way for most people, but for every day, going to work, going to the shops, I've got an 86 911. I think this had done 60 or 65,000 miles. And for best, I've still got my Cosworth. I'm sure most of you would have that the other way around. You know, the Cosy would be for every day and the 911 for best, but no, not for me. And yeah, this is 1998, both on the lawn, soon to be sold, because the Lister, I always said I'd only ever sell that Cosworth for a Lister, and they had sort of come the right money, and I felt it was the right time for me to take the plunge. And late 98, I had seen advertised a Lister in London. I phoned them up, and they said it had full Lister history, and it sounded very, very nice. I phoned Lister, spoke to Lawrence Pierce, the owner, who actually put me off the car. I wanted to know if it, had anything I should, or needed anything I should know about, because I was a little bit clueless on that type of vehicle, obviously. And he, as I said, he put me off. Little did I know, he was massaging me into his own car, So yeah, he said, you don't want that, you want mine. And I said, how much is yours? And it was £20,000 more. And I didn't have the extra 20,000 quid, so that was the end of that. So that would have been late 98. Little did I know, he must have done the old 1471 and kept my number, because in January 99, I get a phone call from Lawrence. Have you still got X amount of pounds for a Lister? I said, yes. He said, right, you can have mine. We're going racing, could do with the funds. Can you come up this week? I said, yeah, I'll come tomorrow. He said, okay, £5,000 cash deposit and it's yours. I said, fine, that's I can do that. So I went up the following day, and there we go. There's us shaking hands, and there's the £5,000 on the table, and there's the car. So yeah, I did it. So yeah, left the deposit, went back home, got a banker's draft, and went up the following day and picked the car up. It had a registration number on which I was going to return to Lawrence once I'd removed it. But I don't want to say too much, but within 400-500 miles I had quite a major problem with the car, and phoned Lawrence up for some assistance. I didn't expect him to fix it, I just needed some help with, you know, stuff, and I didn't really get anywhere, and I got a bit upset, and I thought, sod it, we'll go to court. And that took a year. I didn't want to go to court, but, you know, I just felt, no, sod it, I'm not being, you know. So we went to court. I won the day, and because my bill was £2,500, so I won the day. There's a copy of the cheque for 2,000 quid. And the number plate that I'd put on retention for him, I'd obviously not sent back. I'd kept that, so that was part of the settlement as well. So yeah, I sold that for £400-500, so I hadn't lost out. But even though I had that problem, it was still a fabulous car, and I'd still shake his hand, and yeah, had some wonderful times in that. I mean, you know, it was just fantastic. I remember taking my mother out in it. We had the hood down, it was summer, we were on the parkway and doing quite a speed, I won't say how fast, and my mother was absolutely loving it. I remember my dad flying in, whenever it was, and he came round my house. I said, do you want to go out in it? He said, yeah, let's go out in it. So we went out in it, and I think I accelerated to about 60 miles an hour. My dad's screaming, slow down, slow down. So we turned around and come back home. My dad just couldn't handle it. So, but yeah, there she is. Absolutely fabulous, really, really was. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it at the weekend. Yeah, it could be quite an emotional thing. I say it's been 20 years since I sold this car. That was a great shot. So we've got the 7-litre Lister parked next to my XJRS, which is a 6-litre, complete with appropriate registration. My 5.3 pre-HE and a 4-litre facelift. So yeah, what a lineup of XJSs. And this was my little Mini that I had for bombing about in. I put a sticker in the back window. My other car does 200 miles an hour because it did. So yeah, what will it make? They've got 80 to 90 on the sheet, so yeah, I think it deserves that. When you look at, you know, the rivals of the day, like, you know, the Aston Martin Vantage, I mean, they're sort of 200,000-300,000 quid. So, you know, if someone paid, I don't know, 90,000 for this, the upper estimate, 90 grand, plus the fees, I don't know what they are, probably 10%, something like that. You know, 100,000 quid, yeah, I'm sure it's well worth that. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, that Cosworth, I think it was last year, fetched 500 and something thousand. And then other times, you know, cars don't even make the reserves. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As I said, Lawrence had that as his own car from yeah, I've kept the logbooks as well. 1996. So he sold it new to a London barrister from Oxshott. To give you an idea, Oxshott's probably one of the wealthiest villages in Surrey, or towns, whatever it is. Average house price at the minute is, I think, 280,000. The average house price in Oxshott is 2 million. So, yeah, for this guy to give 160 odd thousand pounds in 1990, which would have been the equivalent to 3 houses. I think the average house price was £50,000 back then. Yeah, it probably wouldn't have upset him too much. But it's an incredible amount of money, isn't it? But yeah, unique car. I'm going to say, Lawrence said he only produced 5 of those. And he sold the barrister a Lister Storm. I said he, you know, took this one back in part exchange, and he had it for himself for 3 years. So he then had it painted Mauritius blue, BMW colour, I think he said it was, blue hood, blue carpets, and then the later set of wheels. And yeah, that's where it went from red to blue. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the weekend. Here we are, let's have a look about. Some beautiful cars here today. Oh, there's Eric Morecambe's Silver Shadow. And there she is. Wow. There she is. Looking amazing as always. What miles have we done? 26. I think it was 18 when I sold it. It's lost the fog lights. It's fantastic seeing this again, absolutely fantastic. So, wasn't this quite ironic? A white 3-door Cosworth and a red 911.
65, sorry, not 65. 65, I'm getting ahead of myself. This very fine 1990 Lister Jaguar, mighty beast, one of 5 produced in this year. It produces 600 plus brake horsepower, V12 and a manual. Fabulous driver's car with the most sensational alloy wheels on it. Look at those, just come straight off the track onto the road. Lots of interest in this. Start at 60. 60's bid at 60. £60,000 at 60. We're away. 62. Thank you. 62. 65. At 65. We're away at 65. At 65. 68 now. At 65,000. At 65,000. At 65. At 65. 68. Thank you. At 68,000. At 68, 70's here. At 70, 72's up. At 70,000 away from you at 70. A mighty car this at 70. 72 with you. 72 is bid. At 72. At 72. At 72. At 72. 75 now. 72. That's the bid at 72. At 72. 75. Thank you. 75. 78 with you. At 75. There it is at 75. At 75. 75, the mighty Lister, 600 brake horsepower, 65, at 75, 75, 78. So at 75, 75, at 75, away from you at 75, 78, thank you, 78, now in the room, 78, at 78, that's the bidder, 78, at 78,000. 78,000. 80's bid. 80,000. 82, sir? 80's on the telephone at 80. At 80. 82. Thank you. 82. 85. Or I can take 84. Every bit helps. 82 is here. 82 in the room. Thank you, sir. At 82. At 82,000. 83 is bid and taken. 84, sir. 84 I have. 85. 84 on my left. At 84,000. 85. 86, sir. I'll just do the courtesy of you, sir, first. 86. 86 is bid. At 86. 87. Returned. 87 I have. 88 million, sir. 88 from the gentleman here, at 88. 88. We've got a queue here now. At 88. 89, Harry. Jump in now. It's in the room at 88,000. Very keen a moment ago. 88 is with you, sir, at 88. 89, will you? 89 I have. 90, sir, will you? 89 Sarah on the telephone. 90's bid at 90. I'll take one. 91 will you? 91 is bid. 92. 92. 92. 93 sir? 93 is bid. 94 now. 94,000 will you, Harry? 93 is in the room. Make no mistake. 94. 95 sir. 95. 95 is in the room. At 95. At 95. And 6 with you. 96. 97, sir. 97, will you? 97. 98. 98. 98. 98 is bid. 98. 98. There it is at 98. 98 on the telephone. Are you quite sure? 98 and 98. One more, you never know. 99 at 99. At 99. 100 now. 100,000 is bid. No? You sure? 100,000. 100. We'll do 1, 2 if you want. 100,000, 102,000 I'll do if you wish. 100,000, it's on the telephone at 100,000. Will you do 102? No, 100,000, there it is. Selling once, twice. £100,000.